Ok, bienvenidos. Nuevamente, este es el... Gracias. Si supieran a lo que van, no sé, veo mucha carne fresca, así que espero que les vaya muy bien. Antes que nada, bueno, muchas gracias por venir. Y vamos a comenzar con unas palabras de la doctora Maricruz Corrales Mora, de la directora académica, así que la invito a que pase al podio. Un aplauso, por favor.
Hola a todos, bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Hay muy pocas mujeres que estoy apreciando, pero bien por ellas que hacen el intento de estar en este mundo. Con mucho orgullo y gran, en realidad, placer, la Universidad Estatal a Distancia los recibe una vez más. Entiendo que es la tercera vez que nos encontramos en una dinámica de este tipo, 48 arduas horas de trabajo que esperamos que no solamente les ayuden a cumplir parte de sus aspiraciones y sueños, sino que también encuentren nuevos aliados y nuevas formas de aprender y colaborar. Entendemos que estamos siendo la única sede de Costa Rica en este momento y por tanto le damos igual bienvenida los estudiantes de aquí de la Uned, a todos los demás estudiantes y participantes del país que hoy nos honran con el entusiasmo, energía y buenas vibras que en este momento se perciben, y ojalá que los acompañen de aquí hasta el domingo cuando ya terminemos la sesión de trabajo. Esperamos que de igual manera las condiciones que hemos tratado de propiciarles en nuestra sede les sean propicias y que encuentren facilidades para cumplir con sus proyectos. Agradezco una vez más a la Escuela de Ciencias Exactas y Naturales, especialmente al programa de Ingeniería e Informática, que ha hecho posible durante estos 3 años nuestra participación universitaria y el crecimiento para este sector productivo del país. Así que suerte con todo, ojalá que les vaya muy bien, diseñadores, programadores y músicos que tenemos presentes. Suerte.
Muchas gracias por sus palabras. A continuación, otras palabras por la directora de ASEN, Gisela Vargas. Un aplauso, por favor.
Bueno, buenas tardes, muchachos, muchachas. De parte de la Escuela de Ciencias Exactas y Naturales, pues estamos encantadísimos de tenerlos aquí en nuestra universidad y con todos estos compañeros que han hecho posible el día de hoy. Creo que tienen ustedes una oportunidad importante por su creatividad, su entusiasmo, su música, en fin, todo lo que tienen ahí en la cabeza, ¿verdad? Que anda dando vueltas ahí y que en estos 48 horas va a ser increíble toda la producción que ustedes van a tener a nivel mental, y, en fin, y compañeros, y todo lo que se digan, y los contactos. En fin, yo creo que cumple muchos propósitos este encuentro. Por supuesto que es un evento mundial, por supuesto que tiene que ver con nuestras habilidades en la materia, pero también ese contacto humano entre ustedes, esos enlaces, esos vínculos, Ojalá que sean para mucho tiempo más permanentes, y tenemos nuestros compañeros de la carrera de Ingeniería Informática que siempre están para servirles. Ellos están entusiasmados que ustedes no se imaginan, llevan una semana que no duermen, con costos comen. Entonces, realmente les damos la bienvenida de parte también de la Escuela de Ciencias Exactas y Naturales, y adelante, mucha suerte.
Ok, ya casi vamos. Primero que todo, ya lo mencionaron, pero sí quiero agradecer al Diplomado de Bachillerato de Ingeniería Informática, porque obviamente están poniendo recursos económicos para alimentar a 100 personas y además, bueno, sí, o sea, eso no es tan común. Y además, es tiempo importante de logística que hay que apreciar de la carrera. Así que yo me gustaría que le dieran un aplauso a todos los que estuvieron detrás. Muchas gracias. Y a ustedes por venir, porque sin ustedes no pasa nada. Ok. Este año hay muchos patrocinadores, principalmente compañías de software como Uned, que dan ciberseguridad, Greenhouse Studios, que no sé qué hacen, la Uned, por supuesto, Tayasu, que hace videojuegos, True Interactive, Fairplay Labs, Cano Arts, The Couch, que va a transmitir esto a gamers costarricenses el domingo, también está transmitiendo en este momento, y Compubetel, que es una tienda que da hardware, por aquello. Uno nunca sabe lo que pasa en un Game Jam. Un mouse se muere. Ok, ahora, a lo que vinimos, ¿qué es el Global Game Jam? Si no saben qué es, no están en el lugar incorrecto. En resumen, es hacer videojuegos en 48 horas. Ustedes van a estar muy concentrados o dormidos, no sé. Vieras que no hay reglas en esto, nada más tienen que en 48 horas van a estar aquí presentando sus producciones, así que los que nos están escuchando, ojalá vean qué pasó 48 horas después. ¿Qué pasó el año pasado? Otra vez hubo un pico de otro récord. El año pasado hubieron 860 sitios como este. Fueron 113 países. En teoría, este año también se superó ese número de países que están participando al mismo tiempo. No lo mencioné, este es un evento global que pasa exactamente en el mismo momento. Bueno, no exactamente, 8 de la mañana es diferente en Japón que acá. Habían más de 47,000 o 47,006 participantes y casi 9,000 videojuegos. Y de esta sede, si no me equivoco, fueron 15. Fueron un montón. De hecho, nunca se había hecho tanto. Y el año pasado había una sede en el TEC que fue como un récord a nivel nacional. Siempre trato de hacer esto, dar tips para participar en Global Game Jam, así que no voy a dejar a un lado esta tradición. Son tips muy sencillos, muy directos. Siéntanse cómodo con la herramienta. Si ve que hay algo que no va a poder hacer por una curva de aprendizaje, no lo haga. Consiga un equipo que ya sabe trabajar con lo que usted hace y todo sale bien. Son 48 horas, los errores van a pasar. Disfruten del evento, cometan errores y duerman bien. A veces es mejor dormir que amanecer dormido ahí, literalmente, la gente se duerme aquí o aquí. Así que, porfa, traten de dormir. O sea, vieras que es saludable. Es mejor estar el domingo con la cabeza fresca que con la cabeza frita. Y finalmente, yo puse los signos de interrogación este año porque siempre digo lo mismo, mantengan una idea sencilla, pero nadie me hace caso. No. Todo el mundo ha hecho cosas muy raras. O sea, el año pasado hicieron, de hecho, de aquí me pareció que Eladio Zamora, de aquí los que veo, pero este equipo hizo, el tema del año pasado fue lo que la casa significa para uno. Ellos hicieron un multiplayer de una casa rodante que está rodando mientras se cae la montaña, se deshace en una cosa de lava y uno tiene que salvar la casa. Eso es sumamente complejo. Yo no sé cómo lo terminaron, así que yo no soy su mamá, hagan lo que quieran. Maricondo Official Game, eso es un juego ese es un caso muy particular, fue hecho por José Pacheco y Marcos Villalobos. Ellos ya han trabajado juntos y era una parodia de Maricondo. No sé si saben qué es Maricondo, es una japonesa que limpia casas. Lo hicieron, pero hay algo muy particular de este caso. Este mismo equipo en enero de este año lanzaron, Tower of Shades. Eso se lanzó hace 2 semanas y eso es algo que viene del Practical Global Game Jam, que además de que ellos tienen experiencia trabajando juntos, pueden seguir trabajando en algo nuevo y lanzarlo. Y de hecho le va muy bien en Steam. Tienen como 95% de positive reviews y muy buenos reviews. O sea, eso cuesta. Así que eso pasó el año pasado, no sé qué va a pasar este año. Y algo que nos deja el Global Game Jam es el aprendizaje de True Interactive con Hookbots. ¿Quién sabía que Hookbots empezó con un juego, Global Game Jam, en 2015? Y el año pasado lo lanzaron en Play 4, Steam, Xbox One. Y es el primer estudio en la región que lanza un juego en Switch. Y nació en un evento así. Así que el cielo es el límite, o más, no sé qué es el límite acá. Ojalá puedan lograr algo así. Ya. Sí, es que estaba sonando mi celular, qué vergüenza. Ahora el keynote, a lo que vinimos. El keynote es bastante interesante, así que relájense, pongan atención, ojalá disfruten lo que vamos a ver. Está bonito. Y apagamos luces, no sé qué vamos a hacer. Disfrútenlo.
You're here because you care about games. We're here because we care about the people who make them. Since 2012, Take This has made it our mission to support the mental health of the game community through a variety of projects, including educational and training efforts with studios and at conventions. This includes working with different groups on healthy work habits to maximize your creativity and minimize the stress for you and your team. With that in mind, Take This has these tips for how to have a healthy and enjoyable game jam.
We know it gets said a lot, but please take breaks. Take a 15-minute break every 2 hours, a break to eat every 4 hours, and make sure to get at least 6 hours of sleep each night. We know that may seem like a lot when you're here to work, and it's easy to get so focused on your game that you can't tear yourself away. On top of that, sometimes we might think that by taking breaks, we're letting people down.
Here's the truth. You're more creative when you're rested. You problem solve better when you're rested. You're a better teammate when you're rested. Across the board, you do better, more efficient work when you're rested. Make sure you're working with a full stamina bar. Take breaks. Take care of each other. People tend to subtly imitate the behaviors we see in our friends and colleagues. If they work themselves to exhaustion, even if we think it's a bad idea, we often will too, because we think that's what others expect of us.
Game jams are a marathon quest, so think about how to take care of your teammates. There's 2 main ways to do it. The first is to be an example of the kinds of behaviors you want to see in others. If you make a habit of taking care of yourself, others might pick up on that and start doing it for themselves.
The other is to periodically check in with your teammates to see how they're doing. If they haven't taken any breaks in a while, encourage them to take one. If they're starting to drag and lose focus, simple, caring, how you doing can go a long way. Maybe they need food. Maybe it's some help on something they're working on. In any case, check in with them and listen to what they need. You're all part of a team, and the best teams support each other to be at their personal best. The third tip is to tell people what you need. It's a little trickier because it requires trust in your teammates. Still, it's important to be able to do because no one works in isolation. We all work a little differently, so tell your teammates what you need to be at your best. Tell them when you need food or a break. Tell them when you're stuck. You'll get what you need, and they'll think about what they need as well.
And if someone checks in with you, take a moment. Ask yourself if you need anything and let them know, even if it's just a 60-second break. Remember, meeting your needs helps you make a better game.
That's it. 3 tips for a healthier and more productive game jam. Take breaks, take care of each other, and tell people what you need. From all of us at Take This, have fun.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Chris Avalon, and welcome to Global Game Jam 2020. We are excited to have you here. We hope you're in the mood to make games. We're certainly looking forward to seeing what you come up with, playing them, and having a good time overall. So it's a reality of game development, really, that there's just not enough time to get the game that you imagine done. Like, you have high aspirations, you want the game to be of incredibly high quality, but really, you're always operating under a tight time deadline. And the Global Game Jam is perfect for highlighting that. Like, you have to get it done in 48 hours. For me, that's a great learning experience that you should take to heart, because that sort of time pressure is going to follow you no matter where you go in the game industry. One piece of wisdom, because I get easily distracted, is try and minimize distractions during the conference. Like, silence your cell phones like you're in a movie theater, like ignore social media, stay off Facebook, just focus on the task at hand. Because when you shut out all those distractions, suddenly you'll find that you have a lot more time than you thought you had at the outset. So minimize distractions whenever possible. So you and your team are probably going to have a lot of ideas, and that's good. That's one of the great things about game development. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that there aren't really any bad ideas. Like if you examine like Super Mario Brothers, for example, you take the basic concept of Mario, and he's a plumber that jumps on the back of turtles, and that's kind of the gameplay loop. If I had heard that in a pitch meeting, I probably would be a little skeptical. But the actual execution of that gameplay is amazing, and that's what you want to focus on. Try and decide upon an idea early. There really are no bad ideas, but what's really going to matter is the execution of that idea. And you want to make sure that you have as much time as possible to execute on it so you can polish it, reduce the bugs, and make a really smooth gameplay experience. That's what's core. Don't be afraid to cut stuff out of the game. You might want to consider taking your feature set, cutting it in half, and then cutting it in half again, because the best games aren't ones where you try and throw everything in the kitchen sink into the game, which is sometimes going to result in a big buggy mess, and trust me, I know about those. The way to approach it I've found is it's always good to don't consider those ideas cut, just put them in your design library to use later. And you're game developers. This is not the last game that you're ever going to make. So save those ideas. Save it for a sequel. Save it for the next version of the game. Save it for DLC, whatever it happens to be. But those ideas aren't going anywhere, and you can use them again. So don't consider it like you're cutting down the features of your game. You're just saving those features for later, and it will result in a much better game at the end of the jam. Another thing I like about the Global Game Jam is really, at its heart, it is like the purest form of game development. And what I mean by that is this is going to be one of the few times in your game development career where you won't have marketing telling you what to do, you won't be arguing with a franchise holder about how to realize the vision, like you won't have 3 layers of producers and an executive producer telling you like the roofs are too yellow or why is that character's sword too long. This is going to be an expression of what you want to do with the game with little to no interference. I've talked with developers at other game jams, and they get really excited about the fact that, oh wow, this is going to be a great resume builder for when I apply to a AAA studio. And when I hear that, I get really sad, because if you have a small team of people that you like working with during this game jam, and you get along really well, you have a good rapport, why would you want to ruin that experience by going to a AAA studio? Like, don't get me wrong, there are great AAA studios out there, but the amount of work and the different roles you can take on while working on a small project is far wider than the amount of work that you can do when you reach a AAA studio. Like, you might find yourself like, oh wow, I really got in that major company, like that's really great, but now you're going to be making hats for the rest of your life. Or, wow, now you're the chief animator in charge of animating the capes for these characters, and that's your role for the entire game. For 2 or 3 years, that's your job. It's so specialized. So relish the fact that you're able to make a pure game here at the Jam, and recognize what a wonderful opportunity that is. Relish the fact that you're able to make a pure game idea right now with little to no interference, and appreciate that, because when you go to the AAA space, you won't have that kind of freedom. Do a good job. And you're like, oh, of course I'll do a good job. Like, why would I give it anything less than 110%? Great, because that's the person you want to be. Now, while that may sound obvious, I'm also going to try and provide some context as to why that's important, especially in the long run. So sometimes a game doesn't turn out the way you'd hoped. Like maybe it has bugs, or you didn't consider a certain element of feedback, or whatever it happens to be, it might fall short of what you were hoping for. Now, the best consolation for times like that is knowing that you did the best possible job that you could, and you keep it in mind for next time. But when you have that feeling, and when you gave that drive of 110%, you supported your team, like you did the most thorough work you possibly could, that's what's going to keep you warm at night and help you be able to sleep. Because I've stared at the ceiling many a night going, man, I wonder if I'd only done X, Y, or Z, or been a little bit better with this, if I could have fixed the problem that eventually resulted in a game. And you should do whatever you can to avoid that. And just by focusing on doing a good job, that's one of the best ways to go about it. So part of doing a good job is being there for your team. Making games is a collaborative effort. Like, it's going to be very rare in the game industry that you won't be working with someone else to make a game. So your ability to work together as a team, to focus on teamwork, is part of you doing a good job. And, not to scare you or anything, but you are working amongst your peers right now. They are going to be scattered far and wide across the globe. They might start companies. They might become leads in various departments of that AAA company you might want to be part of. And they're going to know people that worked well with teams. And those are the people they want to hire for larger projects. So not only should you do a good job by helping those around you, but keep in mind that learning that right collaborative atmosphere for making games, that is a skill and a talent and hopefully a drive on your part that's really going to help your game development career now and into the future. Respect your team, be there for your team, and the game will shine because of it. Another thing I like about Global Game Jam is that it reminds developers that you are making games with the rest of the world and for the rest of the world. It's gone are the days where it might just be a small localized effort. Game development nowadays, like you might be working with outsourcers across the globe, your programmer might be overseas, whatever it happens to be. But the idea of making games is a worldwide thing. Like even AAA studios have studios they work with all across the world. And really, the games that we make are intended for a global audience. So Global Game Jam is a great way to get exposed to developers in other countries who you may want to work with again, which is great. And also reminds you that there's a global audience for these games as well. And I think that's always an important thing to keep in mind. We are developing games for the world, not just for a local community. So I've spoken about the importance of doing a good job, supporting your team, making the best possible game you can during the jam. But one thing I did want to end on is look for ways to help others during the jam as well. Like, it's great to be focused on your game, but if you see an opportunity where if you gave a certain, bit of advice, a little bit of feedback, or of things like, hey, I give you advice on the engine that you're working with, or I know of an art plugin that could help you do the kind of art visual effects that you want to do. For giving back to the other developers that are working around you is a great way to build strength for the game development community. Because really, the game development process isn't going to end here. Like, the more you can keep giving back, both now, later, and in the future, like, that is just going to make the game development community that much stronger. So make a great game. We're looking forward to seeing what you come up with during the next 48 hours, but also recognize that there's ways that you can reach out and help other people as well. Do it, because that's going to make all of our games better. So welcome to 2020 Game Jam, and we're looking forward to seeing what you come up with.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Kate Edwards, and I am the Executive Director of the Global Game Jam, and I would like to welcome you to the 2020 Global Game Jam. As a geographer who's worked in video games for over 26 years, it's a great honor for me to lead this organization and to emphasize the fact that no matter what our social conditions or economic conditions or political actions are going on around us at any moment, we can come together for this one weekend and enjoy creating games together and to show the world the power of this medium. Now, before we get started, I'd just like to say a few quick things. First and foremost, thank you so much for joining us for the 12th edition of the Global Game Jam. Your continued enthusiasm for our organization and this event really is what keeps us going and is very encouraging to us. Secondly, I'd like to thank all of our group of amazing volunteers from the regional organizers, site organizers, and everyone else who donates their time locally and globally to make this event possible. We could not do it without you. And third, I hope you will join me in thanking all of our amazing sponsors for contributing this year. We could not do it without them, especially our headline sponsor this year, Microsoft, who's joining us again as one of our major sponsors. So thank you very much. I hope you will continue to support these sponsors and encourage them to contribute to us in the future. And fourth, if you'd like to support the Global Game Jam organization, we're launching a fundraiser directly after the event is over. Did you know that if every game jammer around the world were able to support us with just $1, that's as much as a corporate headline sponsor. That's a lot of support. And that would be enough to help us with a lot of critical infrastructure we're working on, including a new website, which I know a lot of you would like us to have. So if we know that everyone doesn't have the means to support us, but if you do, please consider supporting the fundraiser. We really appreciate it. Now, lastly, I encourage you to all make sure you get enough rest and also support one another during this weekend. Remember that the Global Game Jam is about collaboration and teamwork. It's not a competition. So thank you so much again for joining us. I look forward so much to seeing the games that you're going to produce, and have a great jam.
¿Sí? ¿Ya puedo hablar? Ok, listo, ya hay micrófono. El tema está lindísimo, hagan lo que quieran. Unos avisos nada más, salidas de emergencia es por ahí, por allá, me dijeron que dijera eso el año pasado, lo voy a decir otra vez. También que a las 9 se cierra el portón y después de eso ya no pueden entrar, así que si van a salir, salgan antes de las 9 y si no, quedan encerrados y duermen con todas estas adorables personas. Bueno, ahora la dinámica es la siguiente, todos tienen un color diferente, creo que es rojo, verde y amarillo. Armen grupos, háblense, si tienen un grupo ya establecido, adelante. Ojalá puedan hacer el grupo antes de ir a cenar, porque hay una cena. También se me olvidó unos detalles. Los patrocinadores van a dar rifas el domingo, así que va a estar muy bonito, hay de todo. Y yo creo que eso sería. Para los que nos están escuchando en casa, el domingo en 48 horas, a esta hora, a las 5:30, a partir de las 5:30, vamos a comenzar la transmisión con la cantidad de juegos que se van a hacer acá y cada grupo va a poder exponer y presentar al mundo su nueva creación. Más bien, muchas gracias a todos por venir, espero que la pasen muy bien y cualquier duda con los que tienen esta camisa. Hasta luego.